Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled A Summary of the Shir given to the 6th, 7th graders from the Achinom at the Chug. This week, Parshat Noach Tafshin Pei. We had the wonderful zechus of having Dr. Fuchter join us as well. And we had an amazing sugya. Goal in Shirim, the 6th, 7th, 8th grade is 6th, 7th grade is to trace down a sugya from Psukim down to present day Poskim, Psukim to Poskim. So we took up an amazing sugya, Moda Geshem of Saint Halamat Lavacha. First glance, it sounds pretty simple. We say Moda Geshem the last day of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, Simchas Torah, and then we say Saint Halamat Lavacha on Zayin Cheshvan and in Galus Chutz La'aretz 60 days after the equinox, which is about December 4th. So it's simple. Open and close sugya. Far from it. Not simple at all. So first a discussion about Moda Geshem. Should you do it at the beginning or the end of the Chag? So one Shivashua says, at the beginning of the Chag, it's a Siman Klal. We don't want rain on the Chag. We don't want rain on the Chag. So he says, I never said to request rain. I only said, Mishabeach, I praise Hashem, the one who brings rain at the right time. That's all I did. Yeshua says, but even to imply rain when you don't want it, even if it's not an outright request, I don't want that. And we paskin that way. And everyone says it at Moda Geshem on the last day. Fine. We had 2 points regarding the klala, idea of a klala. This year we had rain on Sukkot. Was it a klala? The whole reason we know to have Moda Geshem on the beginning, because it's a Siman Klala, the famous mission, Chav Ches and Sukkah, that's as if you bring a master wine, he spills it in your face. So is that what God did to us this year? Different opinions. Some might say, that's what happened, unfortunately. But others say that only when the rain season first begins, the first rain in the season is on Sukkot. Then Hashem is saying, I don't want you in the Sukkah. I'm beginning the rain season on the very day that you're coming out to the Sukkah. Others say, and therefore we had rain before. Shabbos Shuvah, I remember walking to the drasha, Shabbos Shuvah drasha a few weeks ago before Sukkot, already there was rain. So that wasn't the beginning of the season on Sukkot. Others say that only in the first night if you have rain. The first night is the absolute chiyuv to be in the Sukkah. The other nights, if you don't have enough food, you don't have that kind of meal, you don't sleep, you don't have to be in the Sukkah. So if it rains, it's not like, it rained when I had to be in the Sukkah. Not necessarily. As the first night I had to be in the Sukkah. Some say just the opposite. On the first night, it's not a klala. The other nights, it's a klala. Why? Because the first night, some sheet to say that I must eat in the sukkah no matter what, even if it's raining. The chiyuv kazayis of bread in the sukkah trumps everything. Even Teishu Tadura, I have to eat in the sukkah. And therefore, even if it rains, I still eat in the rain. And it doesn't matter. So there's a lot of opinions regarding a klala. Is it a klala this year, what we had? Another point we mentioned about eating in the rain. Some Hasidim eat in the rain even during Sukkot. And the Gemara says it's a header. You're foolish for doing that. So we always should try to defend the minhagim that go in Klal Yisrael to the best that we can. So we don't just say, those Chasidim, what are they doing? The Minchas Alaz, the great Munkat Sharav, from a century ago actually says that a person, he is exempt from the sukkah when it rains. Why? Teisha again to do. You sit in the sukkah the way you would in a house. When it rains on you in the house, you're going to go to another room. So too with the sukkah, you're going to go to another place. You're not going to stay in the sukkah when it's raining on you because you're exempt. And therefore, if you stay in here, it's not a sukkah. What are you doing? You're foolish. So the Mukash says, but what if you are truly a chassid? You love Hashem and you love the sukkah. You love the mitzvahs He's given you. And when you sit in the rain and sukkah, you're enjoying every drop. What is a chus I get to be in my sukkah? The rain doesn't bother you at all. There's no tsar. So if you don't have any tsar, so then, so I'm living in a place where I'm happy to live. So therefore, it's not considered a violation, they should come to do. And therefore, you don't have a key mitzvah of sukkah. That's what Minchas Lazar tries to defend Hasidim who sit in the sukkah in the rain. So that was just analysis of the Mishnah, Beis Amud Aleph in Tanit, where it talks about, Marashav Moda Geshem on the first or second day, or first day or the last day. Then, reason we avoid on the Chag because it's a klala. Then we looked into 2 aspects of klala. Was it a klala this year when we had rain in the sukkah? And finally, when Hasidim sit in the rain in the sukkah, what do we say about that? And Minchas tries to make sense of it. Then we went into Saint Halamat Lavacha. That's Moda Geshem we discussed. What about Saint Halamat Lavacha? And there things get very interesting. And Leal says wait 2 weeks after sukkahs. Why? Because the Oli Regalim, they go up to the Regalim, and they come back, and it takes to get to the furthest community in Israel, all the way up north. It takes 2 weeks. That's Zayin Cheshvan. So the Ran says, what do we do if there's no Oli Regalim? We should do it earlier, right after Sukkot. We should start asking for rain. There's no travelers anymore. And so in the group, some people asked. So I said, wait a second. Dr. Fruchter and Yisrael said, wait a second, we have low plug. A takana once is a takana. There's a takana to say 2 weeks afterwards. Of course, the travelers, who cares if there's no travelers anymore? There's a takana that only asks for rain from Zayin Cheshvan. No, we don't look each year. Are there travelers? Is the Mikdash? It wasn't Mikdash this year. No. There's a takana and that's it, low plug. And that's exactly what the Aruch Shulchan says in Kuf Yud Zayin. Siv Beis, Aruch Shulchan says that's a low plug, it's a fixed halacha. The Ran couldn't tolerate the idea that it's a fixed thing. It could be the reason is because it's one thing we have a low plug or takana, where you have to keep the takana even if the reason doesn't apply. You can't climb a tree on Shabbos, you might come to break a branch. Yeah, but this tree doesn't have any branches. Yeah, doesn't matter. Low plug, it's across the board. Takana is a takana. But over here, we have millions of people in Eretz Yisrael that need rain desperately. Oh, we're not going to ask for it. Why? Because 2,000 years ago, there were people who were traveling. They're going to make a low plug takana, which is catastrophic, where we need rain. And we totally believe, Emunah in Hashem, that our request for the rain is a major conduit and vehicle for bringing rain. So the Ran's like thinking, you have a low plug in the times of the Mikdash that's going to carry over for tens or hundreds or thousands of years, however long the Golus goes on for, till we have the Mikdash back. So the Ran can't tolerate it. He says, really? It makes sense you should start right away after Sukkot. That's the right agricultural time. You don't have the travelers. Then he said, well, the Ram and Riv both say you wait to Zayin Cheshvan, maybe because there still was a minhag to travel for people to go to the Mikdash, or at least to the Makom of the Mikdash and back, or the Regalim, even though there was no Mikdash, just to keep that minhag going. And therefore, the travelers, it took them a few weeks, and out of respect for them, we still wait. So the Ran wasn't ready to just say low plug. He tried to say, well, they're still travelers. Now, Shulchan says low plug, but the Ran wasn't ready for that. And then, finally, finishing off, what about asking for rain in Golos? So the Rosh says, wait a second. Bavel waits a few months till December 4th. That's what works out agriculturally for Bavel. What about Europe? He says, that's not agriculturally best. And he says, in Provence, they go ahead and they start right after Sukkot. They don't wait till December. And he says, Yashar ma'od be'inai. It's very good. Once again, the Rosh is not holding by low plug here. That there's a set takana, because I think I'm in Spain. I'm in Provence now. I should go ahead and ask for rain when I don't want, and not ask for rain when I do want. This is my life. Oh, low plug, because 2,000 years ago in Bavel, that's when they did it. And the Rosh wasn't ready to accept that. Lemais the Shulchan Aruch Paskins like the low plug, it seems, and he says that no, we go one Saint Talmata. There's one request, December 4th in Chutz La'aretz, and in Eretz Yisrael, Zayin Cheshvan, and it seems like we do hold like the low plug approach. One last point we saw, bringing from Psukim, the Satim B'Tarat Tzachim B'Toyu Ramakosh, the rain seasons, and dealing with rain in the Psukim in the Torah, all the way down from Psukim to Psak. The final point we saw was a Psak from the B'Tzel HaChachma of Stern from Australia. A Gadol who lived in Australia, and he says, what should we do in Australia? It's totally backwards. Brazil, the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, the Southern Hemisphere, and he grapples with this whole Shaila. What should we do? Well, our rain season is the opposite. He brings down an astounding opinion that says to ask for rain in the summer when we need it in Brazil or Australia, well, we can't go against the minhag of Bavel. So we don't ask for rain. In Shema Kaleni, you could put it in. To ask for rain in the winter of the rest of the world, which is our summer, and it's a klala, well, we want to keep in line with the rest of the world saying Talmud, but it's a klala. So he brings down cheetahs that say Baruch Aleinu, always 12 months a year say Baruch Aleinu, the same bracha, and that's it. You never say Talmud in Baruch Aleinu. He brings down opinions like that. In the end, he doesn't hold that way. There's a lot of discussion. Someone who does live in Brazil or visits or is in Australia, they really should talk to a postie about what to do in such a case. Anyways, that's the sugya about Borda Gesher, saying Talmud Lefracha, from the Psukim down to the Poskim. Shalom.